Hello, everybody. Yes, I know I'm wearing the same shirt twice in a row, but I think that should be less about your concern or less of your concern, and it should be more about the paper and my mouth eating the paper, the aforementioned mouth eating the aforementioned paper. Welcome to day 756. No OBS this time. I'm thinking of it as being like more of a weekly thing. However, when I get my green screen back and I learn how to operate OBS without losing my sanity, I will try to do kind of 2 days a week with OBS with accompanying visuals to really get in your head the trendy topics I'll be talking about. And I have my this week thing, and I have four items, and one of them I crossed off. There used to be a fifth item, and it was Wild Robot, but we took care of that. Um, and I'm going to list them off right now. Vice presidential debate, that's one. Daniel Day-Lewis coming out of retirement, that's two. Transformers 1, the movie, that's three. And Jimmy Carter turns 100. Holy shit, I feel like the worst Philly DeFranco copy of all time right now. But there you go, because it'll just give me stuff to talk about so I'm not just commenting on random emojis people are putting in chat. But if you bring up something compelling, I will riff off that best I can. But about the vice presidential debate, I did not watch it. Moving on. Daniel Day-Lewis coming out of retirement. Now, this year is the year of Nepo babies, and it's mainly because of M. Night Shyamalan. He's responsible for, I think 4 out of the 5 instances of Nepo baby-related shit. He had his daughter make a movie. He shoehorned his daughter into his movie, and then his daughter is... Yeah, there's just a bunch of shit. Amazing. Thank you. I barely even started, but I guess I'm just super cool like that. I can barely do anything, and it's already a masterpiece. Thank you. And Duncan, it's nice to see you again. It's been a while. But Transformers 1, 6 out of 10 movie. It's fine. Whatever. It's the best Transformers movie out there, which is kind of a feat in of itself because there's so many and they're so bad, and anything attached to Transformers, the quality level is going to go down at least maybe 5 notches. But there you go. Oh, by the way, Duncan, we got some new shit to talk about because I've been really brushing up on movies. I've been making sure to only see the best ones possible. So we got some stuff to do. We got some debates to get into about some movies. And then Jimmy Carter turns 100. Have you seen the pictures of Jimmy Carter, Randy?
Maybe. I saw the Jimmy Carter turns 100 thing. I saw that was...
There must have, whatever Instagram post you saw with that, there must have been an accompanying photo because they're everywhere. And he looks... He looks like a man who just got, it looks like some burglars robbed a morgue and is just, carting the corpse around.
He's pretty freaking old.
He doesn't look alive. He looks, I think the whole Jimmy Carter lives to see 100 headlines completely fucking falsified because he does not look alive. You see, now I kind of wish I had OBS just so I could pull up a picture right now.
I remember seeing this video pop up on my feed to buy, and it was like a super fucking propaganda video from all the presidents.
Right. Okay. You see, they're trying to be courteous towards him by putting this picture on the headline, but this picture is from 20 years ago. You should see what he looks like now. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I haven't even realized. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Those are glass eyes, man. He's taxidermied. That shit's not real. He's not alive.
No, not really.
Damn it. But no, there were recent pictures. Yeah, literally this. Oh my God. They carted him out, and it's like, hey, congrats, Jimmy. And they were giving him kisses on his jowls, and he was just not alive for it. He looks like a wax figure that was left in the sun for a couple days. This shit, kill him right now. Just euthanize him and just save him the pain. Because I don't think, I'll be surprised if he lives past this month, honestly. So, I had a good evening, Mesethula. Lich King, is that a misspelling of Lion King? That's a good movie. Duncan, what are your thoughts on the 2019 remake? Also, because I was always into movie reviews, but I was just so obsessed with music that any opportunity that I would talk about a movie, I was just too into music to not talk about it instead. But I don't think I ever really got square with you about what movie YouTubers I would recommend. The ones that I like. I watch YMS. I'm a YMS guy, and you recommended me Mahler, and I feel like if you like how analytical Mahler gets, I feel like YMS would really click with you if you can get over his voice. And I call him the Danny Brown of YouTube because his voice is hard to get over because it's so nasally and squeaky, and he knows it. He references how annoying his voice is. Surely you have heard of him before. That's not it. YouTube, if you copyright me for this song, then you're big hypocrites.
Get hawked. No. I was gonna say power to
I remember Shark talking about her. She denounced Trump.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh.
I mean, like, she just seems like someone from.
Yeah, you see, that's his voice. I did watch it. You did? Oh, as if you're past him. No one ever moves past. Oh, really? We did talk about it? We'll see now. I guess I have early onset dementia. Jimmy Carter and I were twinsies. I just don't fucking, I don't retain anything, I guess. Well, yeah, no, just, it's good to just compare because when I call him the Danny Brown of YouTube, this is what I mean. Like, this is.
The way these bitches on my cock, this where I was nice.
There you go. So now that you get the comparison, listening to Danny Brown's music and watching YMS's videos is very similar. We did talk about it. Yeah, so you did watch him, and I don't know. His output's not that consistent, but Mahler releases like 2 videos a year. Excuse me. Yeah, no, I don't know, man. I recently, especially since I watched his Lion King 2019 review, and especially the Kimba review, which was really funny because one of my aunts used to idolize Kimba as a child. And so I was just kind of, also she's my most annoying aunt. So I was just kind of playing it in the background, just subtly throwing shade at her. She attempted to ignore it, but she couldn't help but just hang around, because people were talking about developments in the lore of the show that she cared about. And this guy was just trashing the shit out of it, talking about how it's completely disconnected from The Lion King and worse than it in every way. So I don't think she appreciated that, but it was funny. So that was a good time. And I think ever since then, it's just been nothing but positive associations with YMS. And I actually really do appreciate how he gets into the filmmaking in a technical way that very few other reviewers do. I feel a sneeze coming on. But Mahler, he gets really technical about the story. Like he's a lore kind of guy. He seems like the kind of guy who is a regular editor of a fandom page. And that's cool and all. But YMS gets into the story and also the filmmaking techniques, the editing techniques, the sound editing techniques, even like the chords and keys of the songs. I mean, there is no aspect of a movie that he will not go into the weeds. Even if he doesn't know very much about it, he will attempt to at least fill the shoes or to understand the perspective of someone that in that position. You're going to get me copyrighted. But no, I'm kidding. They're not that serious. I'm not. I mean, it can be. I mean, there are people on like a Mr. Beast video who whistled "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" and then got their video destroyed for it. But I'm not nearly that famous, so that's not an issue here.
In like a million different recordings. So.
That's true. It's not copyrightable. Although, to be fair, Bobby Darin did successfully sue McDonald's for, Mac the Knife, which was a song that Darin's dad didn't even write himself. So, sometimes lawsuits can get away with some pretty hysterical shit.
They can. It's true.
You know where that comes from? I'm just such a YouTube nerd today. I'm in like quoting my favorite incel YouTube videos today. Yeah, I'm so. I normally, Duncan, with most other people, I could make a Vsauce reference and get away with it, but you catch every single one. So I feel like if I reference the Bobby Darin McDonald's lawsuit, you're also going to catch that reference because Emp Lemon is like my second favorite video essayist, if we're going to talk about YouTubers I like. So misconceptions with Mahler that he's a lore guy. It's much more about consistency. Example is his redoing of dialogue of characters. Yeah, but that's talking about, it's not talking about the process of creating the film and how it's edited. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying YMS gets into the actual physical element of the movie, how it was shot, the color grading, how it looks, and the story. Mahler spends a lot of his time really talking about, how dialogue works, inconsistencies with the dialogue, and the story obviously is one of the biggest parts of a movie. I feel like it should be, right? Mm-hmm. But it's interesting to see that he's very focused on one aspect, and there's a certain frame of thought with a movie that's like, okay, the story is everything. But what I've learned recently when I've been working at the cinema, watching every movie that comes out every single week, I realized that concept matters more than execution. Hey, what's up, Leonard? Welcome to Eating a Sheet of Paper a Day, day 756. We're talking about incel shit today. Today is not a very flattering day for me. I'm talking about my favorite YouTubers. So we're talking about YMS, Mahler, and Emp Lemon. If you know any of those, name your favorite video and your favorite sexual assault scandal from your favorite YouTuber. Thanks.
I will be leaving.
I guess when Randy chooses to leave. All right, hey, see you around, Randy.
Yeah.
But
Happy paper eating.
Emp did a good one recently. Yeah, he did the Star Wars one, right? He did the Jar Jar's the key behind all this. See, I'm fucking studied up. But I think the video to get people into Emp Lemon is probably the Mac Tonight thing. I feel like that's a really easy to watch thing. For me, it's out of all the videos that I could choose to show somebody, especially while high, like it's a thing that I get a lot of friends to just smoke a bunch of roaches and they get really high. And I'm like, okay, now that they're in a catatonic state, what can I give them? What else can I feed them? And the Mac Tonight videos is just always the easy go-to. So even reference Mueller in it. Actually, you know what? I think when I watched the Jar Jar video, that's what made me want to go back to Mahler because I forgot that he existed, and I was like, oh yeah, wait a fucking minute. You know who released something? E::R made his Avatar live action remake thing. Dude, if he wasn't so autistically obsessed with Avatar, man, he could be cranking bangers out every week. He's just so hooked on how bad the Avatar series has been butchered, and it's not even a show I watch, so I'm not personally invested. Like, I need for him to release like a review on like Barbie or some shit. I want to know his thoughts on Poor Things because Poor Things is a very controversial movie, and I have been waging war on people in my comment section about this fucking movie. I'm telling you, it contains everything that people wouldn't like, especially someone like ER wouldn't like about these films. It's somewhat pro-socialism, which is a little weird, but it's a little more complex than that. As a matter of fact, there's a part in the movie that actually criticizes people who have this mid-20s advocacy stage, but also it involves like kind of flirtations with very morally questionable circumstances, some of which involving pedophilia. Like everything about Poor Things is a movie that's kind of 2020 election reveals Anthem failed. Yeah, you see, everybody knows who Mahler is. It's just there's a certain point where I kind of treat his videos like podcasts for sleep. But yeah, no, I need to get back on that one because I think I'm watching his Multiverse of Madness review, and oh my god, it's so satisfying. Because it's one of those movies that everyone knows is bad, but people are just so fed up with Marvel shit that they don't even bother. No one bothers even getting into the weeds, but they need to. We need to get super technical about why it sucks because it's satisfying to watch. Not that the people in the studios are going to do anything about it. They never were. I did watch the Mahler video where he fucking, what is it? What did he do? Oh my god. He did an analysis of it was like a faux deep thing. I'm so annoyed that I can't. Now I'm gonna have to go on my phone and look this up. Great. All right, here we go. Where is it? Yeah, it was his Lighthouse review. It was his Lighthouse non-review. And I was so disappointed. I thought he would actually talk about it. But I mean, come on. We don't need for him. We don't need for he reminds me of kind of a much better version of the Critical Drinker, who is one of the more he is kind of like the how would I describe him? He's like the average Twitter robot. If you turn him, he reminds me of Twitter. Just whenever I see his videos, it reminds me of when I just click on Twitter and scroll down for 2 minutes. Those are actual quotes. Great. I need to rewatch that again. My dad watches true unironic movie reviews by the most boring people. They talk way too slow on that big TV over there. When he's taking his pee break and his videos are still playing, I'm just going to, slyly slip in and just switch the videos. And I'm going to see if I can try and sneak in a Mahler April Fool's video. And I think he's going to have an aneurysm. So also, I've been just kind of polluting his recommended because I've just been watching Nathan For You clips and just letting them play out. And then I have autoplay on. So it recommends a bunch of other shit that's related to that. And my dad's feed is now unrecognizable. To be fair, I think his feed was poisoned in the first place. Like most of his feed is just videos of black people reacting to the Beatles. It's a very particular type of YouTube video where that it's because a bunch of like old white fellas are sitting in their basements and like, what's up guys? DJ Swag here. Like the most stereotypical black guys are on camera reacting and I'm reacting to Abbey Road. Wow, this is crazy. White guys can make good music too. And that there's some fucking middle-aged guy with no hair going, yeah, that's right, Blackie. That's right. They do make good music. And this is real music, son. So, it's just nothing but that. And so I'm like, you know what, Dad, let me fix this. And so I did. Um, excuse me, minor leakage. Someone does not know how to drink water properly, apparently. Hero. Thank you very much. But yeah, Mahler just reminds me of a much more intelligent, less. You know what he reminds me of? Critical Drinker reminds me of Mahler mixed with a Twitter robot mixed with actual Andrew Tate. Like, and listen, I love Andrew Tate. In fact, I think he lived in my house once about a year ago, and he was a very nice guy. All right, we shared a couple beers, and we talked about how he, had disdain for our mothers. My mom, tell me about it. Can't live with her, can't live without her. But when he was gone, in retrospect, I thought about it and I looked at his Twitter account and I'm like, yeah, he does remind me of the Critical Drinker. And how it's just kind of the same thing over and over again. It's like, whenever I have a convo with people, we can't help but repeat our points. But I would at least like to make an effort to bring something new to the table every time, As Bella Baxter from Poor Things once said, I am a changeable feast. So I would like for each course and each bite to at least taste a little more spoiled than the last. I don't want to experience the same bullshit over and over again. I'm not a McDonald's meal where each bite is equally unspoiled. Change is a part of it. We should invite change into our dinner courses. So what does that even mean? Oh, yeah, right. I didn't get into Poor Things, actually. So yeah, Poor Things, it's a movie, and it's one of my favorite movies recently. And it's truly because it's a well-made film. However, a lot of movies that attempt to do the things that Poor Things does fails horribly. So, sorry, 10-second delay. It's okay. I forgive you. Let me continue on my Poor Things rant. The movie is about a pregnant woman who kills herself, and a mad scientist played by Willem Dafoe digs her body up and takes the brain of the unborn baby and puts it inside the head of the woman. So this is kind of a retarded baby brain thing, and she's living her life on like 10 times speed. So her brain's developing quickly, and you're watching this woman live her life all over again. And this whole movie is placed in a really weird alternate universe, kind of utopian, but also equal parts dystopian, Victorian England from the 1800s era. It's like weirdly steam. It looks like if you go to the Magic the Gathering set Kaladesh, it looks like the artwork from that. It's very beautiful, looks awesome. Stuff like that's the reason I liked Kaladesh. Is one of my favorite Magic the Gathering sets. Maybe people who designed Poor Things were looking at those cards and looking at the art for the Gear Hulks, and it's like, yeah, sure, let's make every single vehicle in this movie look like that. They put so much effort into these like things that show up for 2 seconds and are never seen again. So that's the type of movie that I want to see. I believe they made the skies by like getting high quality video of pouring colored ink into toilet water. It's great. So, Get Out, Nick City, my two favorite movies. One was made by Duncan, and it was a slanderous piece about an old friend of ours, an acquaintance, you could say. Nick, he betrayed us by abandoning us and living in the mountains, and also by being a little bitch and all that. And Duncan decided to make a very faithful documentary about his regression into reclusiveness, and also when the alpha male juice got stripped from his bones. It's very sad. It's a tragedy, you could say. So I recommend that. He's working on the final draft. So when that comes out, I'll make sure to have a premiere at my house. I'll invite at least 50,000 people. There will be a good turnout, so we'll make sure to promo it. We'll get it on Sundance. It will win awards. And Get Out, I actually want to know your genuine thoughts on that, Duncan, but we will meet up and we will talk about that. Text me. I have a wonky schedule, but we will work it out. I'm not conserving my water properly. We have just this much left, and we have this much paper left. Give me a second. I'll be right back. But yeah, no, like Poor Things is like mentally deranged Barbie, which that's a way more sexually explicit Barbie. And it's actually good. Like, and it's not preachy. Barbie had that whole really annoying preachy thing that they were doing where it was really clear that the filmmakers were just inserting their opinions and pretending like it was an objective portrayal of society when it was not. I feel like the Barbie movie contains everything that you hate about movies, Duncan. So there are parts of it that are well made. It's just a shame that it's in a movie that is so preachy and annoying. So, and if Caden's here, Caden knows a thing or two about Barbie slander. So And I understand that, man. I understand. There are opinions of his that I don't agree with. Like, I think his opinion, I mean, he just wanted to be a contrarian, and I really use the C word a lot with him, but it's because it was true. I mean, he just opposed Oppenheimer because he's like, it was boring. There wasn't enough explosions. And I'm like, are you a Neanderthal? Are you living in like 2 million BC? Get out of here, all right? Hit some rocks with some sticks or something. And he also didn't like Killers of the Flower Moon because he's like, dude, it's so long. And it's just about a bunch of Indians and oil. I don't want to know about all that. I'm like, yeah, well, guess what? I don't want to know about your opinion, man, because it's not even a real opinion. You're just typing shit into ChatGPT to come up with an excuse to not have a real opinion on something. Get out of here. Also, I'm swallowing this paper off camera, but I promise you I'm actually swallowing it, so give me a second. Excuse me. That was delicious. We got one more piece left after this, so I think we can just fill it up that much. All right. We're back. Does Caden slander Barbie? I mean, does is kind of present tense, isn't it? He doesn't really slander it anymore, but he used to, especially when it came out. I remember seeing his Letterboxd review where he rewatched it, and his review was, "Why did I decide to rewatch this with buddies?" Very interesting word choice, buddies. Or he said pals, with pals, whatever. It was some sort of like, it's like a children's show word. It's like, it doesn't fit. Buddies and pals. Just say friends. That's the correct word. Someone just didn't want to say friends, so they picked up a thesaurus. But yes, Caden did slander Barbie. And I understand why. He gave it like a 1 out of 10, though. I think it's like probably a 4 to a 5. It's not a 1 or nothing like that. But I understand. You know, Caden has been wronged by many women in his life, and sometimes it's easy to lash out. And it's good that maybe his perspective has changed since Avery has changed his life around. You know, that can make all the difference. So I'm not sure what his thoughts are. He probably still thinks it sucks. So do I. But it's fun to kind of just see if his opinion on it's changed. If he can acknowledge that, say, the set pieces look cool, even if that that monologue that fucking lady makes in the weird mansion is so overrated and so annoying. So like, I remember I showed that movie to my parents because I'm like, my mom's like, so what's the big deal with this Barbie movie? Why is it like a supposed feminist masterpiece? And I kept calling Poor Things, which is a movie my mom liked, by the way. I kept calling it Better Barbie, and she's like, okay, well, what is this movie you're comparing a movie I really like to? Let's see it. And so we did. And my mom was like, the movie was not, like, it was really annoying at the end. And my mom called Barbie sexist against men. So, you know, based mom right there. And even my dad, who is totally like oh, men shouldn't have rights. He's like one of those guys, especially when he drinks too many whiskeys, which he doesn't anymore. So, you know, he's in his sobriety phase. So maybe he's a little more rational than he was, but he was just like, yeah, it was really petty. No movie should be taken seriously and simultaneously be this petty. And I'm like, oh my God, have we finally found some middle ground? I just made a breakthrough. No therapist's office could get me this much of a breakthrough. And I got that just by watching Barbie at a cruise ship with my parents at 1 a.m. It was great. But I'm getting a little off track. What were we talking about? Oh, no, I'm remembering. I'm scrolling up now. Megamind, I appreciate you really, or no, I mean, what's fucking, it's been so long, I forgot your last name. Pope Jeremiah. Yeah, it's been a while. I know I'm still a part of the cult. It's just I have not been saying my prayers nightly. I'll reconnect. Don't worry. My blue paint's in my garage. All right, I'll whip that out later when I remember and I'm not lazy. But Pope Jeremiah, I apologize for my transgressions, and I do have a couple sins, and I would like to confess. And I'll talk about that in a second. But first, before that, I want to say thank you so much for giving me a nice log here in this live chat so I can truly remember that all the stuff I was talking about was stupid and inconsequential. So now that we can move on from that, I think one of my sins is I did leave the toilet seat up while flushing, which is a very casual sin. But my mother did sit down, and I promise, even though my sin was catapulted into the forefront of my life due to other people's bodily fluids, not mine, all right? My dad is the one who shits sloppily and the diarrhea gets coated all over the inside of the lower ring of the toilet, okay? And just know, Pope Jeremiah, Cult of Megamind, this is between you and me, okay? No one else needs to hear this, so I'm going to whisper. liquid shit from my dad's ass got on my mom's ass, and I was directly involved in that because I put the toilet seat up because of my short-sightedness and my lack of respect towards my father and my mother. So, I hope that Megamind understands that even though I simultaneously committed this sin and at the same time, I'm not really saying my prayers. He's basically my landline to Megamind got cut. I hope that he, with a capital H, doesn't see this as a problem and that he doesn't see those two events as connected, because I promise you, I still have my faith. It's just that I'm a little introverted about it. Can you still hear me? Okay, that's good. I think that was the bulk of my confession. So just know that I'm greatly sorry. And I know that you're a channel to Megamind himself. So just see if you can call him up. You have him on speed dial and tell him that my prayers will resume when I get the time in my schedule. I will make sure to reserve Friday nights and Sunday evenings. So if he starts hearing from me again, just know I'll come to terms with him, and I will be one-on-one. We'll square off, and I'll truly let him know my intent was in the right place. And I hope that Megamind prioritizes not just my faith, which I already have. That part's checked off the list. But two, I hope that he understands that I'm prioritizing my intent. I don't want to trick myself into having faith for the wrong reasons, for selfish purposes, just so he can bless me with the privileges that I got from being at the forefront of his his religion, excuse me. So just know, Megamind, I hope you and I are square. And I know we are. It's fine. And if you have wavering sense of my faith, I have a blue plate, We're currently using the blue plate. Actually, my parents are using this blue plate to protect these nuts from the air. I don't eat nuts, so I don't know why they're misusing the most valuable plate in our house. Fucking idiots. But just know, my house, within my presence and in our household, we still make sure that you leave your mark. The blue lives on. And with that, I'll eat my final piece. We're going to list off a couple quick things here. Movies I've watched recently, because I'm just starting kind of doing weekly recaps, because it's not that often. In fact, this is one of the first times that my weekly movie scheduling and ratings have coincided with the paper streams, because I've been so involved in that recently. It's like consumed me. So it's interesting to have these two traditions in my life cross over. 2024 in order, right? So if I can just speed through a couple of these. Actually, you know what? Fuck it, all of them, right? This is the whole year in order. Let me just speed recite. Madam Web, 2 out of 10. The Beekeeper, 5 out of 10. Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat. These are the Sundance ones. 6 out of 10. Out of My Mind. It's a movie about some cerebral palsy lady who kills her goldfish. 8 out of 10. Excellent movie. Even though it was a Disney film and it checked off all these boxes, surprisingly good. It's because Disney picked it up later because it just happened to fit the formula of a kid's film, and it's about cerebral palsy and it makes them look more diverse. Congrats, Kathleen Kennedy, for nothing. Ruining a perfectly good indie film and slapping your brand on top of it. Thanks for nothing. But it's still a great film. Argyle, 1 out of 10. Worst movie of the year. Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate goes without saying. 0 out of 10. Fuck that movie. Love Lies Bleeding, 5 out of 10. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, 2 out of 10. Dune Part 2, 8 out of 10. Godzilla times Kong the New Empire, 4 out of 10. Monkey Man, 5 out of 10. Very controversial too. People really wanted me to like this film more. Plus, movie poster looks cool. What a letdown. Immaculate, 3 out of 10. Civil War, 5 out of 10. Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I'm just reading off the big list. Fuck it. I'm not going to go slowly through each single poster so I can show you the poster. Whatever. It was cool while it lasted. Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, 5 out of 10. Challengers, best movie of the year, 9 out of 10. The Fall Guy, 4 out of 10. Deadpool humor, so annoying. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of Ryan Gosling pretending to be Ryan Reynolds when Ryan Reynolds is the last actor you'd ever want to impersonate. So you guys need to stop that. Action was pretty cool, though. 4 out of 10. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, extremely boring. Don't know why William H. Macy decided to be in this. A great waste of talent. 2 out of 10. If, I think this is the movie that single-handedly soured my entire opinion of Ryan Reynolds. Also, the CGI looks so bad. Look at this. Look at this bullshit. 1 out of 10. One of the worst movies of the year. A Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. 7 out of 10. Really wish that they kind of toned down the gratuitous sequences, and there's some stuff they could have edited out, but the fight sequences in general were great. I just do not care about the characters, and that's not what Mad Max is about. So they could have really, I really could have done with a little more flash and a little less ass. So 7 out of 10 though. Overall, great movie. Oh my god, another one of the worst movies of the year, the Garfield movie. Yep, 1 out of 10. I think that this is a movie that will be revealed in 10 years as being secretly written by AI, which is true. It's a very cliched accusation to throw towards a movie, but I was doing it before it was cool, and this is a scenario where this is very true. So bad. 2.5 is way too fucking high for this movie. Put it way down. Every joke is terrible. I've not seen the Borderlands movie, but the way people describe the Borderlands movie just seems like copy and paste with a different skin on top of it of this movie, the Garfield movie. It's a formula now. The Watchers, which is M. Night Shyamalan's daughter's movie. 2 out of 10. Really bad. The only saving grace was the fact that Coraline was in it. She did not that good of a job, but probably better than anyone else in her position. Terrible movie. It's just unsalvageable. Bad Boys Ride or Die. 3 out of 10. Terrible. Seeing Will Smith with his hair that looks like it's painted onto his scalp was really funny. His hair doesn't look real. He doesn't look like a real person. And I'm like, yeah, wait, what did happen since Men in Black? And it made me depressed because I'm like, yeah, he is famous because he is a charismatic young guy way back in like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and what's it called? Oh yeah, the movie I just referenced, Men in Black. But he's just become this fucking, I don't know, he's just become this very phony old man. Inside Out 2, very hot take here, 4 out of 10. Paced terribly. Each character emotes like they're not real people. It's just doesn't feel like a movie about real characters. A lot of the emoting is really bad too. It's very, and I don't use this word lightly, very cringy. So The Bike Riders, another very overrated film, one of the worst of the year. This was a 2 out of 10. Just a bunch of bullshit, and people considered a lot of it was just really boring. It was it was a really fun experience, mostly not because of the movie, but just because of the people I was watching it with, It was just the two of us found it was so funny. Just it felt like the writer was trying really hard to make the movie seem cool. And then there are some people who are reviewing this movie saying that it's a commentary on how lame toxic masculinity is, which is the most haphazard cover-up of a shitty movie I've ever seen. Kinds of Kindness, 6 out of 10. It's good. I'm too exhausted to talk about the rest of it. Long Legs, I actually liked it. I gave it a 7 when I first watched it. Then I realized, wait, there's like no story. It's a cardboard cutout story. It's shot very well. It's made very well, but Nicolas Cage does not need to be there. Just take only Nicolas Cage's part and make that a separate short film, and you have yourself a solid movie. 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10, pretty lame. Thelma, this could have been so good if this was directed or written by anyone other than whoever the fuck Josh Margolin is. God, look at this guy. His forehead is like half his head. But yeah, this movie was just another boring movie. There's just a lot of fucking boring movies out there. And it had the guy from Clockwork Orange too, and nothing happened. They didn't do anything. I was like, and I liked the concept. It was so charming. It's like a 3-year-old lady who gets scammed, and so she decides to go on her mobility scooter and takes matters into her own hands. But it's so boring, and and the movie thinks it's way cooler than it really is. This was my face the whole time while watching this movie. What's happening? 3 out of 10. Deadpool and Wolverine, 6 out of 10. When Chris Evans got his skin ripped off, that looked really bad. Looked like a PS2, looks like a PS2 game asset from like 2006. 6 out of 10. Twisters, surprisingly good. 6 out of 10. I like the YouTuber. It's good to get representation out here, even though he was way more annoying and way more conventionally attractive than any YouTuber that actually exists. So, really missed the mark there, but whatever. I also thought the action scenes with the Twister surprised me. I liked the bass boom enhanced Twister sound effects. Really, really helped. It put that above the original for me. Trap, really bad. This was my face the whole time while watching it. I love movie posters that sum up my own personal experience of watching it. So this is one. It wasn't boring, I guess, but Yeah, it just felt like, it feels like M. Night Shyamalan's not writing his own movies anymore. It's like he's just listening to some psychopaths on some sort of studio board because no one interacts like a real person. Nobody. So 4 out of 10, but it was funny. And the only reason it's not like a 2 or a 1 is because it was funny. It was entertaining, but for the wrong reasons. Alien Romulus was like a 5. I know people hate it because it's unoriginal, but I'm like, at least it had good practical effects and there was some craftsmanship that happened after the people wrote a bunch of schlock in the writing room that had no originality to it. But after all the unoriginal shit was written, at least, you had some people working in the physical and visual aspects of the film that gave a shit. So I will give credit. That bumps it up to a 5. Blink Twice, which is like Get Out, but for women, it is a 5 out of 10. I actually think the story is pretty well written. It's just that I don't really get invested in the characters and I feel nothing towards it. And there's literally a portion, an unironic part of the movie where the words believe all women are in the movie. And I thought we were past empty platitudes like that. It's like, okay, all of them? I don't know, man. Um, so Beetlejuice. This is like the last movie I thought I would ever like at all. And it was pretty boring and derivative and doesn't need to exist. And I wish that Tim Burton's talent would go into original IPs rather than remaking old shit that wasn't even that good in the first place. But the practical effects were so fun. And the story was, I mean, also, oh shit, I forgot. Yeah, the worst part of this movie was Jenna Ortega. Please delete her from this movie. But it was still a 7, which I feel kind of dirty giving this such a high score, especially because there are parts of this that feel like it feels like a Hulu original remake of like an old thing, like a really bad novelty remake. You know when they did that like Netflix original remake of The Karate Kid? Oh yeah, Cobra Kai. I know people really like that show, but I hate how it looks cuz The Karate Kid, the original movies had that grainy, corny 1980s look to it. Obviously, it wasn't on purpose, but that's a huge part of what had a huge part of the appeal of the original films. And so if you remake it with nothing but it looks like a Darman video. Like there are parts of this before the crazy practical effects come in that's a little too slick, a little too HD, and it looks like a Darman video. And I'm like, yeah, but I remember the original movie and it didn't look this corny and generic. And it looks so that you know there were aspects of this that felt like a bit of a remake that cared a little less about attention to detail until they actually really the real shit started up and Jenna Ortega was no longer boring us to tears. They remade that thing like a dozen times. You mean Beetlejuice? Did they? Well, shit, man, I'm out of the loop. And the next one is Speak No Evil, which really surprised me. Second half was significantly worse than the first half because the tension building involving this actor, James McAvoy, it's so fun. Really inspires people to never be outgoing and be recluses forever and protect their children from strangers, which I'm not a big fan of. So I'm not sure about the lesson that's being taught in this movie, but I mean, it's a horror movie, so whatever. If it scares people and turns people into recluses who are no fun at parties, then I guess that's the price you got to pay for good art because this is a solid movie. Because it's made by Blumhouse, once action starts happening, like there's some shit that happens with some bullets that get shot by like there's a shotgun scene and there were some CGI bullets that I really wish did not look like CGI bullets. And then James McAvoy's character has sulfuric acid poured on his face. And at this point, like it's an R-rated movie. You've been really building up. You best have his skin peel off his face. And I want for it to be the end of Terminator, where it's like a guy with an exposed skull with like fucking eye holes with ooze pouring out of it. And he's, let me kill that kid. Let me at him, something like that. But they didn't. It was a little underwhelming, but that's me nitpicking. 7 out of 10. And we're reaching the end, by the way. The Substance, people called this the masterpiece of the year. I am so close to saying that. If only the film wasn't so self-masturbatory to a degree it didn't need to be. The parts where they were flashing back to previous scenes and they had callbacks and the callback was good and it was well done. Doesn't even need to be subtle. I know it's an over the top movie, but then they fucking ruin it by after they do the callback and they make it really obvious and the whole audience gets it, they continue to flash back to the earlier part of the movie and replay old dialogue and it ruins it. So, oh, they remade Karate Kid. Yeah, I know. But we still have to acknowledge the original and a huge part of the aesthetic and the whole vibe of what made that movie so good. Yeah. I do think that the writing for Cobra Kai is interesting, though. I appreciate it. The actor who plays the young Mexican, like, what is it? I'm not gonna call him a prodigy. What the pupil, like the young Mexican guy who's like the new kid. He's so boring. He actually does look like an actor from a Darman video. I feel like they just plucked him from a random amateur theater kid class. And then Transformers 1, a 6. Oh, shit, I didn't give my score for The Substance. This was an 8 out of 10, by the way. An 8, not a 9 out of 10, but an 8. It was good. Transformers 1, a 6. Not sure how a Transformers movie ended up being this good, but what can I say? Character design was terrible. Look at these guys. All right. I don't know who signed off on giving a robot like this such pronounced lips, but I hope they get fired because none of them look like how they sound. It's really surreal hearing those voices come out of those mouths. But honestly, I could just if I turned my brain off and came into it with an optimistic attitude, yeah, I actually would solidly, and I truly enjoyed this movie. 6 out of 10. The Wild Robot, considered another one of the masterpieces of the year, with a 4.3 on Letterboxd. And I had a big comprehensive review yesterday. I gave it a 7 because the music was overbearing and annoying. Didn't need to be in there. And the next film that I have on my list that I have not seen is this Joker movie that I'm not interested in watching. Get out of here. I have a bunch of movies on hold that I haven't seen, right? So get this out of here. Now that we're moving on from the real tough part of the list, glad we're past that trauma. I saw the TV Glow, right? It's made by the trans lady slash object slash, I'm just going to call her a lady. Fuck it. Possibly a man in disguise. I don't know. I don't know which one it is, but I'm just going to assume it's a lady because her name is Jane. And we're not going to try to track down this person's childhood and figure out what they really are. It's just whatever is the easiest. So I'm just going to call her a lady. And if she takes offense at that, then maybe she should change her very clearly female name. Hundreds of Beavers. Apparently people said that it was like a silent film and the best YouTube video ever combined. So that's on my list. And also it's a very cool movie poster. Also, to go back to Jane over here, the reason I highlighted her movie is because she made this movie, which is We're All Going to the World's Fair, one of the best movies of 2021, which honestly is not saying much because that was a terrible year for movies. This DD movie, which is a movie about some Asian kid who makes YouTube videos and connects with his mom or something. I like the movie poster. I like how it's made with like pastels. It's not just a bunch of photographs of people's heads. It's like they actually gave a crap about the movie poster this time. It's got very good reviews too. People are really into that movie. And then we have this movie called Anora, about a stripper, hooker, and she's played by the really annoying Asian lady who gets a flamethrower torched at the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So if you remember her, she's the lady with the gun who fell into the swimming pool, and then she gets burned with the flamethrower. If I spoiled that movie, I'm sorry that you slept on that movie for so long. You deserve to get spoiled. Get fucked. Mars Express. I just got recommended this from Sardonicast. There you go. Breen is an incel. Exposed. He watches movies and watches YouTubers who also nerd over movies like a nerd. Breaking news, guys. I eat paper. You can't expect anything better from me. All right. Well, that is me sharing things that I am enthusiastic and passionate about. Let's keep this going. I'm so tired. This was truly obligatory, but I'm glad I was able to talk about stuff that's important. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I will see you tomorrow. That'll be day 757. Make sure to live, laugh, cry, and also not die. And until next time, this is goodbye and stream right now.